What's happening, folks? Back with another reaction, back with some more Savoy. Indeed, we're back for Waaktaar Wednesdays. I don't think I said it right last time. People mentioned how I might pronounce it. I probably got it wrong again. Maybe I'll just call it Savoy Wednesdays to save myself the embarrassment. But either way, it is Wednesday morning, or will be by the time you see this. And we're back for more Savoy. We're getting near the end of the Mary Is Coming album. I don't remember if the next album in their discography is already available to me, because in this folder there is only Mary Is Coming, so I'll have to check into that. I imagine that, by hook or by crook, we'll be able to go through the next album without much delay at all, if any. So yeah, the next tune on Mary Is Coming is We Will Not Forget, or We Will Never Forget? We Will Never Forget. So obviously there's a serious tone to this. It could be something not quite as intense as it sounds, but there's a lot of people or a lot of places where you'll hear this as a specific phrase in reference to something specific, whether it's something seen as very positive and therefore standing as an example or a template to follow, or a very negative, painful experience, but that perhaps through shared suffering and commiseration has now come to be seen as like a landmark in, again, a broader society, or maybe a sub-community within a larger society. But we will never forget, I don't know, it speaks to emotional intensity and a desire to preserve for better or more unfortunate reasons. Again, whatever process, event, or experience is then seen as so significant in retrospect, and presumably at the same time as well. Although in some cases the true and multifaceted significance of things does only become clear over time, and as more accounts come in and people look at the same situation from different ways, where sometimes when you're in the middle of a process, you're not aware of all the variables and moving parts. Nevertheless, it speaks to an intensity. So I'm curious to hear what they will not forget, who they are, and why, more positively, negatively, or I suppose, more complexly, not just in a straightaway, oh, it was very good or very bad. There are things that perhaps can be both. Again, even a very negative experience can serve as a unifying factor or touchstone to then build upon. So let's find out what it is. This is Savoy. The tune is We Will Never Forget, and it's from the 1996 album Mary Is Coming. Nostalgia. Our lives or our lives?
Ears to the ground, we're making the wind rush by. But my baby, well, she don't know me for all of the years gone by. We will never forget those times. We will never forget our lives. We will walk through the fields all night. We will know how it feels, alright. Your face to the wind, eyes to the rain. You're holding your head up high.
I love that.
But my baby, well, she won't show me for all of the tears we've cried.
It's that layer in there. Like a miniature saxophone. It's guitar work. So is there more than one guitar? Like, what am I hearing?
Head in a cloud, ears to the ground. We're making the wind rush by. But my baby, well, she don't know me for all of the
I
tears
don't know what it
we
is, but I love
cried.
it.
We will never forget those times. Take a look as the clouds go drifting by. We will walk through the fields all night. We will never forget our lives.
Is it our lives? Because that's obviously very different from our lives. But in general, it felt like vignettes of experiences walking through fields, and we're not going to forget those times. It felt sort of nostalgic, but I feel like it could be more complicated than that. And yeah, ultimately, it seems like there was a significant other involved, but as to the nature of the dynamic between them, I didn't pick up all of that. Sonically, really interesting. Again, I didn't know what that was. At first, it sounded like a mini saxophone, but then it came more to the fore, or like was like raised in the mix of all the different elements. But then when that happened, it felt like, oh, is that like a guitar with some effect or distortion? But there's also like the lead guitar, so like it sounded like maybe there were two guitars, if that's what that other layer was. I suppose that could have been a synth, but I'm thinking of them as primarily like an alternative rock band. Not that rock bands can't have keyboard or other synth related layers, but yeah, I wasn't sure what I was hearing, but I really love that aspect. I was also amused when I was listening to the contrast of those lines, which I enjoy the juxtaposition of head in the clouds, a way to express that someone's excited about something, thinking about something, maybe something that could be this grand and long-lasting experience for them, but they're sort of missing the immediacy of the moment, and perhaps at their own peril. Whereas, you've got your ear to the ground, is, you can detect any rumblings from any direction. You're really on point with what's happening down here in the moment. And in that moment, it made me think of that painting with Plato and Aristotle, where Plato's like, it's all about up there, man, all about the clouds up there. And Aristotle's like, nah, man, it's the ground down here. So, yeah, my brain is stupid, but occasionally, my studies come back to me relative to some lyric or something that I'm hearing. So, that was an enjoyable experience. But yeah, bottom line, another cool tune, and one that doesn't jump out and say, oh, it's alternative rock. So again, the variety of flavors as we've gone through this album has surprised me a little bit, and of course that relates to the you can have a label that is essentially right and essentially fits, but that's not the full story. It's not till you hear the music that you understand the way those semantics relate in many ways, but maybe not always. So it's been cool to go through the material, is my long-winded point here. Do let me know what you think of this one. I will see you next time. Peace.